Constitution dialogue. Without further ado, I now announce our next panel, another very pertinent, pressing issue for many decades now, but more so for this time around, particularly for this government. Women's reservation, what is the plan? Joining us to take this conversation forward, we have with us Ms. Swati Maliwal, member of Rajya Sabha. Ma'am, please join us on the stage. We also have Ms. Jebi Mathur, member of Rajya Sabha from the Congress Party. Ma'am, request you to please join us on the stage. We have also with us Ms. Subrashra, who's an author and political strategist. Joining us and moderating this session is Ms. Priya Sehgal, editorial director of NewsX. Like I said, a very pertinent question being put forward here. Women's reservation, what is the plan? I request all our panelists to please be seated so that we can begin the conversation. Priyaji, over to you, ma'am.
Hello and welcome, and thank you all for joining us for what is really a very important part of our session and part of politics also, the Women's Reservation Bill. As we know, the bill has been passed in Parliament, but there is a delay in its implementation. We are going to be waiting for the caste census, we are going to be waiting for delimitation, and uske baad will be the implementation of it. So Subrashra, I'll begin with you first. Why the delay? Everybody is saying karna hai to abhi bhi kar sakte hain. Parties like TMC and BJD have already given 33% reservations. So what are we waiting for?
I hope I could answer your question, Priya. We have been waiting for it since 1971, if I'm not wrong. So we all know the course of the bill. I don't want to get into the details of that. But I think Parliament, as everything else, is a reflection of our society. Do we really wish to see women at the forefront? Is the central issue that we would, we should ask. I don't want to get into party politics here and say that this party is doing better and that is not. But the point is that opinionated women even today are not easy cookie to swallow. So to answer, I think I'm going to paint all the political parties with the same brush and say they are a part of the larger patriarchal setup, and nobody wants vocal women who have substance and who can make a difference come in the parliament and snatch the limelight away from the men around. Perhaps that's the reason for delay.
Jebi Mathur, why do you think, are you happy with the fact that, what the Congress could not do for so many years, the BJP has at least got the bill passed, even though, there is a delay, but at least we are on the right track?
When you say Congress couldn't do, you should say about what Congress has done as well.
Which is?
What we have seen, the 50% reservation in local bodies. Now I'm sitting in front of you all as a member of parliament. But my roots are from local body elections where we have 50% reservation, which is a realization of dream by Rajiv Gandhi ji. Something so magnanimous and so reformative. And given that point of time where women never used to come to any public life, and that opportunity opened the doors for women from the kitchen to the public life. So Congress, when in power, has done what, not just in words, but has made sure that it happens, and it happened, and it's a result what we are seeing now in local bodies and taking it to the next level. In when we were in government, we have tried our part of doing it. We got it passed in Rajya Sabha, but due to the numbers, we couldn't pass in Lok Sabha. Saying that, I want to also emphasize in the women reservation bill of UPA, we did not have these clauses where depending on two things, only then this is going to happen. So basically, this still remains a non-starter for the fact that, yes, it was a headline making, and also special session was called in the new parliament where nobody knew what's going to happen. So all that we welcome the fact that steps are being taken, but From that moment, in the parliament, outside the parliament, Congress party has taken the stand that we shouldn't be waiting for all these delimitation clause and census clause and all that, and we should make sure that with the available statistics and data and the census available, we should go for reservation, not delay it. So the intention of Congress is very clear. We have done it in the past. We have been saying it, and we'll continue to stand for
But you
women.
still haven't given, what are you waiting for also? As an individual level, TMC gave 33%, BJD did. So why doesn't the Congress give 33%? What are you waiting for?
No, Congress, certainly we have done that Ladki Hu Lad Sakti, who was an initiative of Priyanka Gandhi ji in Uttar Pradesh, and a significant number of seats were given to women. So it's not the case that we have not started it. And also everywhere we are making sure, and at the organizational level, if you look, well, taking from the Youth Congress is a frontal organization of Congress party. At every level, we have reservation for women. Again, I'm a product of that. Whereas Youth Congress State General Secretary I became because there's a reserved for women for every level, which is Rahul Gandhiji's dream. So organizationally also, we are making sure that women come to the forefront.
Swati, I know you have to leave, and we also welcome Ikra Hassanji. Role of women, how do you see the women? You've been in the headlines also a lot. Women do get in, but then what happens after that? The fight has just begun. Getting your foot in the door is the first step. After that, what happens?
I think, unfortunately, I'm the classic example of that. And I became an MP. I have struggled on the ground for 20 years. 2006, I finished my engineering, and after that, I've been working on the ground in slums. I've done so much of work in Delhi Commission for Women. 9 years, we've handled 170,000 cases. And I think it was historic, the kind of work that we were able to do. And that's why I was given a ticket and I went as an MP in Delhi. But what happened after that, I think the entire country knows, and it's very unfortunate. So I think that women reservation is something which is very crucial. It's not just a political issue, it's a social issue. I think women have to be given their equal representation in the parliament. It's so unfortunate that right now only 14% of the parliament is women. I think that's something that is very shameful. That number has to be raised, but at the same time, implementation is the key, because just by bringing a law which is strong, which gives representation to women, and even if we have 33% women in the parliament, what happens after that? Are the parties, political parties, bold enough to accept strong voices from women? That's a question. Also, if something happens to a woman in the party, if something happens to a woman, if she's assaulted, if there's sexual harassment, what kind of systems do we have to protect women in politics? Do we have strong internal complaints committees in each and every political party? Do we have mechanisms that suppose some problem occurs, and if the party leadership decides to completely finish off one woman, will other women in the party stand up for her? Will other women across party lines stand up for her? I think these are important questions which reflect the patriarchy that exists in our society as well as in our systems, and something has to be done about it.
We do hope. I think you raised some good points. But Ikra, you come from a party jahan pe you have the famous saying, Netaji ka Mulayam Singh Yadav said, boys will be boys, ek samay. Now, and pehle they opposed the women reservation bill. Now you have Akhilesh Yadav supporting the women reservation bill. So you think there is a change in the mindset also in terms of, it's a positive change, which you've been seeing firsthand?
I would first like to apologize for being late. And thank you for having me. There is a change, and I think it's for the benefit of women. And I'd like to also address why Netaji first opposed the bill. It was because he wanted reservation, not just, he wanted reservation for OBCs, women OBCs within the women's reservation. So I think that was the point why he was opposing it. And I think that's also necessary. We need to have women from all stratas of the society to be able to come forward and take the lead. And like my colleague just mentioned, it's not just about I think reservation is the first step, but what will we achieve by reservation? we will only enable a certain number of women to come forward. But are we as a country, as a society, ready for women leadership is the question. Or will we just tick mark 33% of women who will come forward? And like we've seen before, how at the very lower level, at the panchayat level, you have pradhans and you have pradhanpatis as well for the seats that are reserved. So it's not just for the sake of it that we demand women's reservation. I think the country needs to be ready for women to take lead, for women to be able to be leaders and lead the way for other women. And I think these dialogues, I would like to thank you for initiating these dialogues. And I think these are very important. This is a very important topic that needs to be discussed. And I've had the fortune to, right before the session, to visit Norway with the UN Women. And I would like to share some insight from there. They have a parliament which has 45% women representation. And they did so not with affirmative actions, but by enabling changes in the society. So it was very interesting to see how they've brought about that change. And I think something in that regard we also need to do as a society. For example, childcare there is not just a responsibility of the women, but the state has taken it upon itself to have creches, to have kindergartens where women can leave children. So they have paternal leave, maternal leave, and all of those things. And I think these things are very important if we need to take women forward. We need to first remove these foundations that women have on themselves. Only then can we expect for women to take lead in all spheres and fields. And I think the reservation bill is the first step in that regard, and we need to do much more.
Actually, it's because we have feisty women like all of you in the panel that people are actually, taking notice, and this topic has more credibility. Swati, I know you have to leave, so I'll ask you one more quick question. In terms of, implementation, what you've said, once you get in, what is the feedback you've seen, and what else can we expect, from the fellow MPs? For instance, your case, what has happened? What has been have you got support from party lines? Or is it just people are taking political positions or gender positions?
It's very unfortunate that in most cases people take political positions. As long as the accused is from another party, then everybody will come up and everyone will be talking about it and, trying to shame the other party. But when it comes to your own party, when it comes to taking a stand, I think people don't walk the talk. That has been my personal experience. At the same time, because Delhi elections are coming up, I think it is very important that while there is a law that exists, it is yet to be implemented. I would really, really request all the political parties fighting in Delhi to implement it on their own. You see, even in my party, out of the 70 tickets that were distributed last year, only 6 went to women. And all 6 of them won. So I think it is very important that political parties understand that women, if you give them tickets, they can win, they can deliver, and they can bring about policies which are way more inclusive and way more effective. You see, world over research talks about that when women participate in decision making, when women participate in governance, there's much more focus on healthcare, there's much more focus on education, there's much more focus on gender-based issues. Then why is it that parties, especially now in Delhi in the upcoming elections, why is it that only 6 or 7 tickets are going to be given to women? I think it is very important that at least 50% of women should be there in all the state assemblies, in all the in the parliament, and I really believe that that will bring about a change. At the same time, like you asked, it's not easy to be a woman politician, and it is not easy to be a woman politician who dares to question the might of political parties, as well as some leaders who think that they are God. So it's extremely important to be able to protect our women politicians. Otherwise, how is it that people will be able to come forward? You see what happened with me, the kind of spectacle that I was made of.
What message did that give to youngsters? That if you come to politics, if you come to the parliament, anything can happen to you. So I think it is important across party lines to support each other, and especially for women to support each
on
other.
gender issues, which is why, Shuvrasta, can you all come together irrespective of politics on some issues, in terms of women issues, whether it is, as she said, having creches in parliament or some implementation, bring a more humane thing to become a lobbying group cross party lines.
Absolutely. And among the four of us here, I'm the only person not in politics as such. Of course, I'm a part of political strategy making, and it doesn't matter to me which political party wins at the end of the day if they are delivering for the public. Right. Now, the point is, very important points have been raised by both. The three of them, in fact. I don't want to get into 50% reservation, Bihar ne pehle kiya, Congress sarkar nahi thi, and all of that jazz. I don't want to fact check because I understand where she is coming from as well, where the Congress MP is coming from as well. My point is very limited. What kind of leadership are you giving to this country, even if we talk about women reservation?
Explain.
Still, when will we talk about the quality of women leadership? Right now, we're talking about numbers, and I know it's easy for me to say this because I'm not in the fray. I'm not somebody who is fighting for tickets. I'm not somebody who is lobbying for a Rajya Sabha ticket or whatever for that matter. So for me, it's very easy to take these moral grandstanding positions, but these positions are important. And it's really interesting that it came from a Samajwadi Party politician. The structures in anywhere, in corporate India or in parliament are not women friendly. Come on, even in media, these chairs are not comfortable for postpartum women. let me tell you.
We will.
When she is raising these issues, these are very fundamental issues. If you really want to talk about women leadership, the question that she asked was, is India ready for a woman leader?
We've already had a woman leader.
I was just coming to that. I was just coming to that. This whole conversation about our leader gave.
Is BJP ready for a woman president?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I wouldn't say just about BJP. Any political party in this country today, if they do not come from, Congress, it's easy to say because Congress is a family-based, corporation. However much they would want to deny it, however much they would want to deny it. I don't have any agenda to, grind here. All these conversations about Indira Gandhi, well, how many women leaders did Indira Gandhi promote during her leadership? I come from Nalanda. We had an extremely meritorious candidate.
I think Indira Gandhi was women or men same. She had the same rule for all. She did not promote, beyond a certain level.
Yes, so then we can talk about the quality of that leadership. Indira Gandhi, as a prime minister, has delivered a lot for the country. But I'm talking specifically about women leadership. Okay. The question that if women leaders are at the forefront, do they support other women leaders? And we can take, I think, TMC, the panel, does not have a TMC representative. I think TMC is the only political party in the country, and I know this, I'm sticking my neck out and saying so, who has actually respected women leadership at the cadre level. The cadre level. Okay. Even BJD to, when you compare BJD to TMC, TMC is way, way ahead. Okay. They have them. You might have issues with their ideological, understanding of women leadership and how they, completely dish their political opponents. But when it comes to giving a neck-to-neck fight with women, in terms of women leadership, I think TMC is way.
Let me bring JB now to.
So you don't even need to even ask. Before that, let me respond.
Yes.
So I want to actually draw the point that you look at United States of America with such a long democratic history. You cannot name one US president who is a woman, okay? And then not just that, in our recent memory, we have Hillary Clinton and also Kamala Harris fighting, but absolutely we have not seen any kind of anybody, taking any, giving them any step to be the president of United States of America. Now, come back to India. Who is India's first woman prime minister? Please.
We've discussed.
And which party does she belong to? Okay. Who was India's first woman president? Who made? Congress party.
But how many tickets has the Congress sends? It's good to make leaders from one family.
No, that's not right. Who was the first woman speaker in India? Who was the first woman chief minister?
Because you were in power at that time, so you would have the first woman speaker.
Kripalani, first woman chief minister. So it's not the case. See, let us be very honest that we have done whatever it takes. You should think of that period also. In that period, with such limited years as well, we can showcase before the world that India had a prime minister, a woman prime minister.
Okay.
So nobody can deny that fact. So that is the truth. And this bringing in family, and just because one family, I disagree with that. Indira Gandhi is a woman icon. I think every woman in India feels proud of her. Although years have passed, and just attributing it to that Indira Gandhi is because she belongs to one family, I think that is totally very.
We give you Indira Gandhi, we give you the first speaker, but what is the road ahead is what we are looking at. You know, you can't just keep saying, "हमने ये किया था." आगे क्या करेंगे?
That is what I'm saying. So road ahead is, have we not taken the steps to bring in? See, if you have to talk about words, first you have to have the letters.
Okay.
You need to learn ABC and then go talk about supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Okay. So the first step of local body, we have done it. There was so much of opposition. Even against that, there were parties who were not supporting local reservation in local bodies. Now we are taking this next step ahead. Okay. So that is what we are saying. So Congress party in its thinking. Secondly, now if you are looking at the mindset of people, I want to just say that issue starts from the mindset of even women. There's an inherent inferiority complex somewhere that we should be behind. No, we should not be standing here. We should not come ahead. I think that should be broken in the largest perspective. Any party, any state, anybody, that perspective should be changed from within the woman, and we should be mentally prepared also to come and achieve and take on responsibilities and these posts as well. That is also one factor.
Yeah. Okay. But Ikra, I'd like to bring you in. Let's not talk BJP Congress. Let's talk about women from big towns to women in smaller towns, and from Uttar Pradesh also. How have you seen in the past few years, how easy or difficult is it? And from a party like the Samajwadi Party, which is the patriarchal party, at the end of the day, I know. But how has your journey been? Tell us your story.
I come from a lot of privilege. First, I'd like to specify that. But even then, I think, as ma'am was saying, we need to first break the notions that we have in the society, and that will take a long time. So there is space, but we need to effectively occupy that space, not just, as ma'am said, not just in numerical sense, but in a very effective manner. For me, because my family was in politics, I got a headway, I got a start, but I would still say it's still a man's world, and everything needs to be, as a woman, you need to be aware of everything. You need to keep looking over your shoulder all the time. And these are societal things. These cannot be changed only through political intervention. I think as a society also, we need to, all of us, not just the politicians, but I think the media has a role to play, and NGOs and other social activists, I think, are doing a lot more than we are doing. So as a society, we need to see women there. We need to see them take the lead, and only then can we expect for things to change in a better way. And I would also like to mention that if Congress hadn't put Miss Gandhi where she was, I think that would be embarrassing, because Congress was the oldest party, so it's only just to expect it from the Congress. So I have deep admiration for her.
So another question to you, taking off from what you said about societal changes, can there be a cross-party consensus on, say, issues like rape? Let's not have politics. And the women should get together and say, whether it is a Nirbhaya or what happened in West Bengal, domestic violence, some issues where women's rights are concerned, you should, can you all at least get together and tell your leadership that on these issues, let's all of us, whether it's BJP, Congress, SP, everybody get together?
No, I think there is a consensus on these issues. I can only speak for myself and the time that I have had in the politics. I think people tend to get together on these issues, and that's a great start. But there are also technical limitations. For example, if I'm a woman and I want to speak on something in the parliament, there is a lot of balloting limitations, time limitations for the parties, and all of those things. So that kind of somewhere limit you, and you need to give in to the top leadership. And top leadership, as we all know, is mostly occupied by men. So
We have
there
to fix that.
we have to fix that.
Okay, just stay away from partisan, from bipartisan politics. In terms of being a woman in politics, a women thing, are there something extra that we have to look for which men don't? You know, whether it is the clothes you wear, the words you use, how you address an issue. There are all these extras that we have to also bring to the table before we actually express ourselves.
And I think I'm thankful,
Right.
frankly, for the fact that we have to be extra cautious, because I don't think men have set a great example on the kind of language they use, the kind of conduct they have with other women politicians, the kind of issues over which they have fought, even within the party. So I think it's okay for us to be cautious, and I'm not saying this out of this Mother India mentality. I think it's okay to present to be more presentable, to be more accessible, and to be more moralistic. I don't have an issue with that. My problem arises when I have an issue when we start talking about reservation and rape. When we take only these two incidents, or when we take only these two conversations that have to be around women, why can we not talk about, say, for example, women farming issues? Why do we not talk about women reservation when it comes to farming in India? Yeah. Not exactly like how many women farmers should we have, but the fact that there are specific issues of women farmers which never gets addressed. The whole country was in hullabaloo, but we never talked about women farmers. They were only propped up as a frontline attack. There are a lot of, I can see a lot of military people here as a frontline warriors. Yeah. Similarly, it happened with CAA. Women were propped up, and we were used as props. And the sad part is we were comfortable being used as props. So my problem with, at the risk of again repeating myself, my problem with propping up Indira Gandhi as leadership, as an example of effective leadership, is not her comparison with Tarkeshwari Sinha. Tarkeshwari Sinha came from a middle class family in Bihar, same age as Indira Gandhi, more meritorious than Indira Gandhi. She went to London School of Economics on her own merit. But do we as a country recognize Tarkeshwari Sinha also today?
I think there's a perspective to that. Let GV answer that. But also, I got it. We are out of time, so I want to give everybody some time.
One question. Was the Congress party open to having a debate between Tarkeshwari Sinha and Indira Gandhi when they handed over the reign of Prime Minister to her? Simple question. I want a simple answer to this.
No. See, in a democracy, people are elected by the situation, and then the MPs involved. If it's the chief ministers, MLAs involved, it's the parliamentary party's decision. So Indira Gandhi is considered to be the Iron Lady of India. We all agree. So we should be proud that we have a prime minister who is a woman, and not just woman, that she's respected worldwide.
Why are we still debating Indira Gandhi today? No, Subrata, let her finish. Yeah, let her.
She's still asking, madam is still asking whether she should have been
made or should not have been made. Can we critique women leaders is the question. Okay. Can women leaders critique women leaders? Appreciate and critique at the same time. Because if we don't have this quality conversation, then what's the point of women reservation in parliament? Or anywhere for that matter? If we cannot improve the quality of the leadership that we have, then what's the point of reservation? Please, we have had, Pradhan.
Okay, let me ask a good point. I've understood your point. Let her answer.
About?
No, she's saying that in terms of why are we promoting only one kind of woman? In terms of the quality of women leadership?
Quality of women leadership, it's there at every level. Now, when it comes to BJP as a political party, they are not interested to showcase or project Indira Gandhi's qualities. Is their political strategy or an agenda? So, we don't have to agree to that. The fact that India as a country, in the history and in the books and in the records, when a country like United States of America, still with such a long history, cannot even show a head as a woman, we can show, we can portray, we can project, we can still say. Now we don't know now next Prime Minister when we are going to have a woman, but until then we can say that Indira Gandhi was.
But will it be Priyanka Gandhi if the Congress has a choice, or will you go beyond? I think that is a question.
No. See, Priyanka Gandhi ji has won with over 4 lakhs majority.
Debating that. We just
This is again, see, when it comes to politics, when you're contesting election and when you're winning, I think after winning that, you cannot be questioning whether what is the surname and then go behind the surname, and because of the surname is not the issue. People accept them, people love them. And that is why Priyanka Gandhi ji has won with over 4 lakhs majority. Okay. So if she has won, she has won. She's a leader. Now she's going to speak in parliament. I would say, you know, all of everybody, madam can also listen to what Priyanka Gandhi ji is going to speak in Constitution.
Sure. But Swati, you know, just going beyond Priyanka Gandhi, Indira Gandhi, in terms of being a woman, are we judged for something extra than just our politics?
Absolutely. I mean, every woman faces that in society. Yeah. What you wear, what you talk, how you get up, how you sit down, what time are you coming back home, what time do you leave your home, everything you're judged at. I mean, I have felt it personally even in the parliament that what I wear is something that gets very noticed. Like I remember that one male politician walked up to me in the last session, and I was wearing Western formals, and I was told that अब तो हम आपको नेता बनाना चाहते हैं और आप साड़ी पहन के आया कीजिए. So I love wearing saris, I love wearing Western formals, I love wearing formal clothes to the parliament. Being a part of the parliament, being a member of parliament is a matter of great pride for me. Every time I walk inside the parliament, I feel that sense of responsibility. I feel so energized, and I feel that, you know, there's so much that we can achieve. But that's the way that everybody thinks. Yeah. Why is she wearing this? Why is she not wearing this? So I think it's important that, and it's something that is that's so entrenched in our society that, you know, you don't even sometimes feel that, oh, what did he say? Yeah. Because it was said in a very, it was said out of concern for me. It was said out of, you know, it was said out of that, like, you know, we really like you, do this. But it is said in those manners.
Not without its patronizing touch.
Yes, but it is extremely patronizing because people don't realize, men actually don't realize.
Okay. Ikra, last word to you, you know, taking into account what Swati has said, is it a plus or a minus being a woman politician?
I think there are lots of plus, but like what she said just now, comments about how you look, they kind of diminish your credibility, I feel, because we're not here to be appreciated for the way that we are presenting ourselves outwardly. But comments like those kind of leave a bad taste in your mouth. And I think we've all been through those comments. And I cover my head. So a lot of attribute is given to, because I cover my head, so I get a lot of credit for it. And I don't think that's why I do it. But to attribute things to your appearance, I think is unnecessary. And like ma'am said, male politicians or males in general unknowingly do it because it is so deeply entrenched in the society. So they're unknowingly doing these things, which kind of restrict us in a way.
I don't know what is worse, that they're doing it unknowingly thinking or they're doing it, you know, knowingly.
There is no stop to it also. Like she was wearing Western formals. There was a comment on that. I cover my head. There's a comment on that. So you can never, you don't know how to play this game because for everything you do, there will be a comment. So we need to stop that. We need to stop giving them that leeway that they can comment on how we appear because we don't do that with male politicians or anybody in any other field.
Very good point. And we're totally out of time. I'm sorry because we're being asked by the men to wrap up. On that note, thank you.
Thank you so much once again, Swati Maliwal, Ikra Hassan, Subrashra, and JB Mathur for joining us at the third Law and Constitution Dialogue. We're going to take a moment. I'm going to invite Dr. Aishwarya Pandit Sharma onto the stage to present a small token, rather actually not small today, but a token of our appreciation, a rather heavy token of our appreciation to all of our women panelists who've joined us to take this very pertinent conversation forward. That is Subrashra, author and political strategist. Thank you so much for giving us your precious time. You're also being presented with a photograph of the first meeting of the Constituent Assembly, viewers, which was attended by 205 members. And interestingly, this included 9 women on the 9th of December, 1946. Let's have a huge round of applause for our women parliamentarians as well.